right, you are listening to the best of ZTOTV podcasts. This is your November 2020 edition. I am joined by a couple of my good friends here from the channel. We got Ray McGuff. He is from Schlock Fest, of course, and he's also from Deconstructing Bill Murray and goddamn it,
Area 42 podcast.
Strange Findings. Sometimes when we do it, there's a bunch of them. And then we have Jean-Paul Mantia, who also has a few shows. He works on Schlock Fest, of course. He's on What the Fuck Did I Just Watch? And we throw him into the mix on other stuff sometimes too.
And for Achieving podcast, don't forget that one.
What's that?
What?
You know, I'm an overachiever, like
yeah.
Rick, the overachiever podcast.
He still needs a mic, Ray.
Yeah. Next up, microphone for you. All right.
Okay. Do you want the headphone things that work the microphone?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like mine has a microphone right here.
Yeah.
If you have that, just plug it in and it'll work.
Let me see if I have
crystal clear.
Well, you don't have to do it right now.
This is not the time.
You made me do it now.
I guess we can edit all this out.
Oh yeah, that won't happen. Ray, why don't you just go ahead and start off with number 10?
Okay. Again, I'm Ray McGuff, primarily from Schlockfest, and these are the top 10 most downloaded ZTO podcasts for the month of November 2020. I'm going to do the 10 through 6.
There you go.
Math is fun. All right. Clocking in at number 10, we have the TakeOver podcast, episode 46, entitled Presidential Dogs and Accusations of Infidelity.
Yeah.
In this clip, Josh Palmer tells a tale of a lady only known as Aunt Robin, who assaults his toilet with a post-Jägermeister chili cheese fry splattering.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true or not, but he may have brought a girl over here. She brought her aunt with her. I'm not going to go.
Fuck. Okay. That definitely happened.
I'm not going to go into the full story of why, but they came from the bar and the aunt had to follow along with his chick, and he came home. I'm thinking I'm going to get laid by Aunt Robin's her name. Robin. You know?
Yeah.
I was going to put it down. I don't give a fuck, Randy. You hear me?
Right. Absolutely.
My dials went way down over the years. If you hear what I'm saying. Nothing happens. I go to bed. I come down ready to work on some music, do some shit. She's passed out on the fucking bed or passed out on the couch. So I'm tiptoeing around trying to do my shit. She gets up in a panic. She looks like, goes to the bathroom. She drops the dirtiest shit I've ever seen.
Robin did?
We just moved into
this motherfucker.
We just moved into this house, so I haven't got a toilet brush or anything. We had to go out and get a toilet brush. She had shit spackle for 45 days on the side of this.
Well, I bet that rattled.
Sounds like you dodged a bullet, man.
But that rattled the ceramic lid.
Yeah.
We're talking Jägermeister and chili cheese fries.
Oh my God.
That'll do
it. Yeah. Palmer, you would have been laying into that and knocking all that loose. That would have been bad business.
I bet there's a lot of wild characters in Marion, Ohio.
There's a couple.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple.
All right. Up at number 9, we have the last Roundup Horror Club meeting. It's number 7, 2001 Maniacs, 2005 film. Some fun discussion about the 2005 film, 2001 Maniacs.
Yeah, did you, John Paul? I wanted you to join us on this one. I remember because you said you liked this film.
I love this movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah,
Robert Englund is great. Billy Moseley is great.
Well, Bill Moseley's not in the first one. He's in the sequel.
He's in the sequel. Sorry,
which I didn't like that one.
They're both fine as one movie because I tend to watch them back to back. But
I see. Well, it's fairly racist. Enjoy this clip. We'll be back.
I wonder how Robert Englund looks back on when he says Negro in this. Like, ooh, a Negro, or whatever he says.
Here's the thing. This could have been so much worse. They could have amped it
up.
like Boys in the Hood style, like N-words everywhere. You know, what
I feel
mean?
like it worked
they could
though
have
for
done,
him.
They could have done way worse on this movie than they did. And honestly,
Yeah.
I don't really think it was that bad. I knew what they were going for. This
Yeah,
was
the-
like you were supposed to be sympathetic for of why they got killed, why the town died, because the North raided and just annihilated them. Really, just a small town,
Mhm.
you know, killed all 2001, and their deal is we're gonna kill 2001 people, and why not eat them?
yeah. I mean,
The original though, I'm pretty sure there was either no cannibalism or you didn't see it, because all they were doing was
Right.
killing people.
yeah,
Fuck
that
that
makes
way.
more sense. Yeah, but yeah, there's only the only two real racial the things that I was like, whoa, was that when he said Negro and China? What did he say, China woman?
I think
or something?
Chinese. I believe
China
Chinese
woman.
was the slur.
And then he said the later on there's that the one dude says something about like, oh, he said the black guy says where do black folks hang out around here or something like that, and he said over there on that tree or
Yeah,
whatever.
down there by the tree. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, but I
Good
don't know.
character development, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, they could have really made it fly
Yeah,
in a
it
crazy
could've-
direction.
Like, yeah, it could have been so much worse. It probably would have, if they would have went that route. I feel like Robert Englund would have quit.
Yeah, there would have been a lot of people
He's not
quit.
he's not into that.
I would have
feel like he's not
assumed
into that.
that all of like the black dudes would have quit too. I don't know.
Oh
I mean,
God, yeah.
I would assume.
All right, up at number 8, we've got Gettin' Learnt, episode 2, Haunted Ohio. Listen in as a cartoon turtle and hamster duo discuss haunted locations around the great state of Ohio. How do you know that they're cartoon animals talking? They just are, okay?
As we all know, up north here, we have Mansfield, Ohio. Have you ever been there, Turtle?
Yeah, I went to the prison once.
That's exactly what I was going to talk about. So that Mansfield prison, well, it's been in a few episodes, like not in episodes, but it's been like kind of well known, like what, Shawshank Redemption?
It was on
on
Shawshank,
there.
yeah.
But apparently they've also heard of like a lot of like horror stuff. Like obviously we all know that it was like reformatory and there was like prison and all that good fun jazz.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff there. You've been there. It's kind of a maze. It's huge.
I've personally never been there.
Oh, well.
Can you describe a little bit? Like,
dude, when you walk into where all the cells are, it is mind-boggling how huge they are.
Are you serious? Is it like old, like 1920s style, like cell blocks?
It's like 6 or 7 high.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I did not
and
know
then
that.
just open space all around them.
That is creepy.
Like when you stand on the staircase, it's a long drop.
That is really creepy. But apparently, it's also haunted. I believe Ghost Adventure's been there too several times, or maybe once or twice. I don't
imagine,
know.
yeah.
But yeah, apparently people like guards before they close, because now they're closed, right? Like it's no
Yeah,
longer,
totally closed. It's completely dilapidated. Like,
do you know when like it was like done being a prison? I think it was like
No.
maybe in the 50s, 60s, maybe a little bit post that, maybe 80s. I really don't know myself.
I feel like you should have looked that up.
I probably should have looked that up. but long story short, but apparently like before they closed, guards would hear like conversations of like the cells and like kind of have like that eerie feeling and just feeling of just generally uncomfortable nature. That was been reported several times, but like you said, like they do tours there, correct?
Mm-hmm. And the tours are creepy too, man.
Have you done one?
Yeah, because you walk into them, they still have like all the original artwork in the cells of like what people drew.
You're kidding me.
Mm-mm.
That
they're
I'm
crazy.
getting like a little hamster goosebumps going right now.
It's creepy too. And when you do the tours, like you're the only ones in there.
So it's just you. Like, do you go as a group, or is it just?
When I went, it was just I think me and my parents, and then
Really?
a tour guide. And then like there's this phone thing that they give you to listen to that gives you a little bit of info.
Oh, for like per cell?
Mm-hmm. Well, no, not per cell, but like per area.
Oh, okay. And I assume they probably just walk you in around the rooms, so to speak, or just like
It's pretty expansive. So once you go in there, there's like plaques on the walls, and then you got this phone thing. All right. Looks like an 80s phone. And then on the wall, it'll have like a 4-digit number. And then you type that in, and then it'll start talking to you.
Like kind of like a historical marker.
And then the creepy thing is sometimes it just randomly starts talking to you.
Is that
it's probably ghosts?
That probably is. But yeah, like when people now, like you say, now they do take tours, but I believe the prison itself, like you can go there and like do your like ghost adventures. And like I'm assuming there's been orbs spotted there several times from like photographs, things of that sort. So it's pretty active like location, especially for like in the state of Ohio. And obviously pretty well known due to the movies or due to the movie.
Yeah. They leaned a little bit on Shawshank when I was there.
Episode 7, Exploder Wrestling Podcast. Episode 78, Face the Heat. Dan Fraley talks about some of the weirdest nonsense going on in the world of professional wrestling in the year of our Lord, 1995, which is 25 years ago. Dig it.
1995 also introduced another thing, the Dungeon of Doom concept. Now, when Hulk Hogan first came in, the first thing they did was put him against Ric Flair, which made total sense. They would have the first match at Bash of the Beach in 94. They'd have the second match at Halloween Havoc in 94. Hogan would win both matches. Then they started this thing where Ric Flair's not enough. So then they brought in Kevin Sullivan, who was, at the time, the booker. And Kevin Sullivan created the thing called they were the Three Faces of Fear, which was him, they turned Brutus Beefcake, and the Avalanche, which was John Tenta, Earthquake, Shark, whatever you want to call him. And then that morphed over time into a thing called the Dungeon of Doom. Now, the Dungeon of Doom was explicitly created to create monsters for Hulk Hogan to overcome. It's a method, it worked all through the 80s, say what you want. Hogan wins the title in 84, and then it was just, okay, Big John Studd, okay, King Kong Bundy, okay, Roddy Piper, okay, One Man Gang, Big Boss Man, Zeus, Randy Savage. It was just create a monster, put him against Hogan. Hogan beat down, overcomes, wins, goes to the next one. This was that only very explicitly. It was a faction of ridiculous characters created solely to be fed to Hulk Hogan. Whether it's Avalanche, who was renamed to the Shark. Big Boss Man, who could obviously not be called Big Boss Man, became Big Bubba. Z Gangsta, which again would not be introduced in 95, but introduced in 96. They brought in One Man Gang, they brought in Kamala, all these different characters. The problem with this was it led to a decline. It was basically the last full year you were going to see the Hulk Hogan formula work. People by this point were basically tired of the Hulk Hogan gimmick. Now, I don't know what the numbers look like, and I'm not going to sit here and quote, Nielsen's till the end of time, but I do know that it was declining. They were going downhill. The Dungeon of Doom was not a great idea. I remember, like I said, I've said this before, but I remember one time where it's Sting, Randy Savage, and Hogan, I think, and they teleported to a literal dungeon. They teleported, like the Power Rangers, whatever.
This seems crazy that it was 25 years ago, for real.
Right? I can't believe I'm so old.
Yeah.
And fat.
I was looking, I was looking up the other day. I remember I had a Home Alone 2 poster from Hardee's. Do you remember when Hardee's was giving away like Home Alone 2 Lost in New York shit?
Yeah, I had the cup.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I wish I still had that poster. I bet it's worth some money now. Because they always used to tell you shit like that would be worth money. I looked it up. You can get it on eBay for $14, mint condition, no problem.
Well, Mantia, he used to work at Blockbuster Video. And Frank, do you remember all those video stores that would just give us posters?
Yeah.
That shit's worth thousands of dollars now.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure some
I
of it.
I had a stand-up cardboard casino poster with a dice where you could actually tap it and it would roll.
I don't remember that. Yeah, you had a couple stand-ups. You had like a White Man's Burden, didn't you have, or something?
Yeah, I had
like
White Man's Burden stand-up. I had Dead Presidents.
Yeah.
That's good.
That shit would be worth thousands of dollars right now. Gave it away. I got too old for it.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't last moving around or anything either. You would have to get it at like an adult point in your life where you weren't like, I don't know, I discarded stuff all the time, just left it behind, And
well, yeah, we moved a lot too, man. So after like the third or fourth move with that. I had to take it apart each time and rebuild it, and it just wouldn't go back together. So I gave it to somebody. They taped it. They had it for a while. But coming in at number 6, we have Schlockfest, episode 28, Nightmare Weekend, 1986 film. This is where Jean-Paul tried to gross me out, make me uncomfortable, and piss me off, and it flipped on him because there was lots of nude boobs.
Yeah.
So,
and nude boobs are good for you.
That's right. This clip entitled "Public Sex in a Weird Gas Station Bar." Enjoy. Back at the terrible bar, we flash back there for some reason, and these two people are just fucking on this pinball machine.
Yeah, the pinball wizard.
Yeah, and we meet again the girl. She went out roller skating and got herself into some trouble. The girl that's the scientist's daughter, and Jessica, and she meets the dude from Pet Cemetery here. But she first sits down next to the pinball machine, and this couple is clearly having sex on the pinball machine. And I mean, like, having sex. This whole thing is by the way, I want to tell everyone, this is a softcore porn. This isn't like a film that somebody made that's like it's a horror movie with some sex in it. This was made as a Showtime not hardcore, but softcore porn.
The director attempted to make a horror movie and a softcore porn movie. And like I told you, the trivia was, the Italian director decided to lose the footage of the horror aspect of the American movie he was making at the same time he was making this Italian movie. And they spliced it together, and this is the amalgamation that we got. Nightmare Weekend.
Well, so anyways, prefacing that, so these people are like literally having 5-minute sex on this thing, on this pinball machine, and they keep looking at the girl to see if she'll like make eye contact, as you do. If you're fucking in a room full of people, you're going to want to look around to see who's noticing and then call them out. Like, are you doing any better? Probably not.
Probably not. Coming in at number 5, it's Murder Fluent, episode 3, Chad and Lori's Daybell. And this beautiful clip, it's kind of sad and terrible things happen, right?
Yeah, the story is a couple who had crazy religious delusions. They ended up killing 2 children and at least probably some other people. And like, I don't know, it's wackadoo, man. Just check it out.
Okay, so then on the 20th, the police go public with the search of the children. They say that the disappearances may be linked to the death of Tammy, and that Chad and Lori are called persons of interest the next day. The 23rd, the Daybell's attorney released a statement and called the parents loving and devoted. They won't tell you where the kids are, of course.
I remember your frustration with this when it was happening.
You're
like, they obviously did it.
I just felt like it went on forever when they said you have a deadline, and the deadline was they didn't give them a deadline for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then when they finally did give them a deadline, and then they didn't meet the deadline, and then they waited after that even to arrest them. I just think that is ridiculous. And they only arrested her first. It was a long time after that he was arrested. Like, what the heck?
What was the thing I heard you listening to that was talking about Frozen? I think they went to see Frozen. Who was that?
That was her. That was Lori talking.
To the police?
Talking to the police. And when they tried to call Melanie and they couldn't get a hold of her, they go back to the apartment and she says, oh, they went to see Frozen too. I think they're seeing the movie right now. That's why she's not answering.
That's what caused the rift in their friendship or whatever.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
She wanted her to lie.
She's spilling her guts now, and she testified against her in these preliminary hearings and stuff. So
coming in at number 4, it's another exploder.
Double dipping.
Podcast, episode 77, the future of great wrestler and respect. Future?
It's a combination of two wrestling promotions, Future Great Wrestling, and then there's Wrestling and Respect War Wrestling. It's a clever little thing I did. Yeah, that was Dan talking to local indie wrestlers, and this is Dusty Dillinger talking about the importance of traditional ethics and training in modern professional wrestling.
Oh, can I just dip in real quick and say that Dusty Dillinger one time grabbed me by my throat and lifted me off the ground?
That's true.
Because if we're going to talk about ethics, I don't know how ethical that was. But
let's be honest, I kind of pushed him in that direction. Which at that time we hadn't done a lot of things, and I was kind of like, Ray's kind of up for whatever. I don't think Ray's quite up for just whatever. I think it very much has to be run by him once or twice.
So was it as good as a hold like when Kane Hodder choked you to death?
Yeah. Well, Kane Hodder hurt me. Dusty just picked me straight up off the ground and then kind of dropped me back and was like, "Get out of here."
Yeah.
But Kane Hodder, like he grabbed a hold like he was going to rip my throat out.
Well, at least Dusty was teaching you, a lesson. Morals of wrestling.
Yeah, don't talk to him about wrestling.
I think the fans today, the storylines are okay for them, but I think they like to see the work put in. They want to see they enjoy the athletic portion of it more so than what say our generation did. They were more interested in the stories. You didn't have to be athletic or all that jazz. But the fans today are very much into the athleticism, into the art of it, if you will. And I used to have a very, let's say, poor opinion of what some of these athletes today, the way they're doing it, as far as telling stories or not telling stories. These people are lucky enough to be able, these fans, to have access to all of that and be a fan of wrestling, period, versus being a fan of Hulk Hogan per se.
Which I think that's also a very good segue with where the next topic. Talking about professional wrestling, I mean, if you go back into the history, there was a time where a headlock was a finish. I mean, Strangle Lewis was famous for a headlock. That was, and then the wrestling evolves over time. Things like jumping off the top rope was illegal for the longest time, and then it became okay, and then it became pretty standard. Now, if you don't do a corkscrew 630, what are you doing? My thing is, going into future great wrestling is where I want to, the next topic. We're talking about the next generation. You talk about that being almost like a training center for the younger guys. Does future great wrestling, is that seen, and this goes to Ripper and anyone who knows about them and anyone who works with them, is that a kind of thing where they're basically trying to combine the two, teaching that old school work ethic, but also realizing there's going to be more of an athletic component? What, is that the goal of future great wrestling?
Yeah, well, overall, the goal of future great wrestling is to make sure that there's a future in wrestling.
Hold on, I want to say something.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
I want to say something before you go crazy. He mentioned something about how the progression, how this used to be a fish and that used to be a fish. Also, go back in the 1960s and look at a fight scene from a movie, and then look at a fight scene now. You can't get away with that shit now. That was going on back in the 60s. Everything has to progress. If it doesn't progress, it gets stagnant, and stagnant is rotten, and rotten is no good.
We're down to number 3.
Let's see how this goes.
Oh, what the world? Jay and Trent.
That's not it. That's not.
What's the word with Jay and Trent?
Oh man, I need to
get those pesky glasses out of here.
What the world with Jay and Trent? No,
what in the world with these spectacles?
What's the world with Jay and Trent?
No word.
What's the word?
What's the word?
What's the word with Jay and Trent?
Yeah, episode 10.
Episode 10, the Canadian Experiment.
experience.
Oh my god, this is so great.
I'm terrible.
I love it. It's great. This is the best. This is it's weird that this one hit so high because it just came out a couple days ago. But the guys from Henotis, Jay and Trent, they have a few Canadian friends. They invited them on the show, asked them a bunch of questions about Canada and what's the most popular thing Americans like to ask you. What's some misconceptions, all that stuff. So they cleared it up by going right to the source. Enjoy this clip.
So for this next segment, we usually do what's called like a lightning round, where we tell you two things and you choose one of them. Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and start this off. Poutine or maple syrup?
Poutine.
Poutine.
Canadian bacon or American bacon?
Canadian bacon.
Canadian.
Oh.
Biscuit or cookie?
Cookie.
I'm going to go biscuit.
Trailer Park Boys or Letterkenny?
Oh, man. That's...
Trailer Park.
That's like trying to figure out the difference between Elvis and the Clash. It's like they're period pieces.
I haven't seen Letterkenny.
Really? You haven't?
Oh.
Letterkenny's amazing. Pitter patter.
Yeah. There's no words.
Yeah, Kids in the Hall. I think I just saw something pop up. Kids in the Hall. Yeah, that was classic Canadian comedy. That started the whole thing, I think. But between the two, I'm going to go. I'll go Trailer Park because that they started it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's East Coast, and like Letterkenny's Ontario, and Trailer Park is East Coast. So
this next one's random. Cuddles or maple syrup?
Cuddles. Cuddles in maple syrup.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Got a point there. Yeah.
Beer or maple syrup?
Oh, beer. Good God.
Maple syrup or maple syrup?
Neither.
Yeah, let's go maple
Neither.
syrup.
No. All right, moving on.
All right, let's try again, Sean Paul. Number 2.
All right,
what
number 2. I definitely need some hillbilly therapy.
There you go.
It's the Leaf Blower Revenge and the Tale of the 9 Cats.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This crazy.
Yeah, Hillbilly Therapy is a show. You can write into them. They'll answer your questions on the show. Hillbilly Therapy at gmail.com. Not therapy. That'd be weird. But this one, there was a listener that had a problem with his sister, had 9 cats, and he was just worried about her, mentality and stuff. So check it out.
Glad the show's back. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'm so glad people are glad that we're back.
I am too.
I've missed our fans. We have great freaking fans.
Oh, absolutely. It's fun. It's a fun show to do, and it's good to see that people appreciate it. I have an issue with my sister that I was hoping you fellows could help me out with.
All right,
she just doesn't seem...
Please don't be an incest one. Please don't be.
Well, I would hope not, but let's find out. She just doesn't seem to care that she's in her 40s and has nobody to share her life with. Oh boy, this is taking a turn. My sister Blair has never had a boyfriend or a girlfriend and instead shares her 1-bedroom apartment with 9 cats. Holy shit. Let's just say she may be overcompensating for a lack of a partner. I've tried to bring this up with her, but I can't even gauge if she's straight, lesbian, bisexual, or whatever. She seems to have no interest. I feel she's going to die sad and alone and miss a scent of cat pee in 3 saltwater aquariums that she barely cleans properly.
Gross.
How do I convince my sister to dump the cats and find a human companion for once in her life? This is from Sad for My Sister from Marseilles, Ohio. Lot to unpack there. A lot.
There is, but I love the fact that our fans are now coming up with clever names.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I don't know if I don't think we started this, but I don't know where the hell it came from. But I love this. Y'all need to keep this shit up because this is actually pretty.
It's like Dear Abby with a higher alcohol content. Pretty much, it's kind of like that. Yeah, there you go. See. Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Jack Daniels. So
Yes, they ain't paying us. He's just enjoying it.
Yes.
Oh man. But I'll say if we ever do get a sponsor, it'd be alcohol. It'd be alcohol related.
Oh,
It
hell
has
yeah.
to be.
It fucking better be.
So what would be your first? What would you say to this person worried about her sister?
You need to find a dude that's into cats.
Oh God. Good luck with that.
Well, there's
9 cats.
that are
9
into
cats. No one's into 9 cats. The guy who wrote Cats is not into 9 cats.
Yeah, but he is.
It's a lot. That's a lot of cats. 1 or 2, maybe a lot. That's 9.
Yeah, but there's a desperate guy out there somewhere. I don't give a shit. There is somebody out there that's desperate enough to do it. You got to find them, and or her. I don't know why. I don't know why this dude instantly went to like, is she gay? By like, what the hell is that everything to do?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. As long as she ain't doing nothing to the cats, I don't care. You know, as long as it's a person, I don't care.
And see, I'm one of those weird ones that fuck it. If it makes her happy, just let her fucking be happy, man.
Yeah, right.
It's one of those like, I mean, if you're worried about her, just spend more time with her. But honestly, there's people that just don't want to fucking date.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of those things that I think a lot of people, especially in this year, are kind of finding out about themselves. They just don't want to fucking date.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those, if they're fucking happy sitting at home, not dealing with anybody, she ain't got to deal with anybody's shit. All 9 cats are like, fuck us, feed us at 4 and leave us the fuck alone. Maybe that's what makes her happy. I don't know what kind of, I don't think they have a word for that. Like,
I think you have to gauge. I think I'm agree with you to a point. I think you have to gauge exactly where your sister's at, and here's what I mean. You need to know if she's if on one end of the level, you could be like Jake's talking. She's not really interested in anybody right now. She's fine with her cats. She's got a job. That's fine. Now, if her house is clean and she just happens to have a bunch of cats, good. That's fine. Leave her alone. Now, if she is a current or future cat lady, that is a different regard. That's the ones who dresses them up like people and put bows in their hairs and gives them human names and have 9 cats and way too messy of a house. And if you go to the house and you can see yourself in a future episode of Hoarders, you need to talk to somebody. That's where I would draw the line. Just being a lady with cats who's not in a relationship, no big thing. But if she's at a point where you're thinking this might be considered a mental illness by the people at A&E, yeah, you need to have a huge intervention with her. So that's the line. So just really gauge what if she's cat lady, have a talk. If she's just a regular person who doesn't have anybody right now, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Dan, did you send this email about one of your siblings? Because you went right into a whole. You went into so much fucking detail on that. I think we need to check where this email came from. Because I think this is too big. You went right into here's exactly what the problem. Like you had too.
No, because I haven't seen enough of those shows. I've seen no one falls ass backward into being a hoarder. It's something you work at. So it's not like that's what I'm saying. You need to nip this in the bud early. If she's just a regular person, don't worry about it. But if it's getting like, oh, I'm gonna be on a A&E show in 6 months, you need to stop that. That's the line.
All right, bring it into number 1. You can't fuck this one up. This is your show, man.
So number 1 that makes me very sad because Ray is no longer with us. But it's
I'm not dead. I just am not on it.
Oh.
He could still technically come back once in a while.
Yeah, I could.
So number 1. What the fuck did I just watch? Episode 7, the Jim Henson Storytellers. We enjoyed this one. We had a couple fun guests on this one, and
one fun guest.
No, that's not true. If you look at it again, there are several fun guests. One being Emmett.
Oh yes, it's true. But it was Pixie Del Sol. I believe that's what her name is.
That's right, Pixie, who made me cry, reminding me of how much I love Jim Henson. So I think that's why this is the number 1, because I cried like a little bitch. So Here's a fun clip of Storytellers.
All right. Well, John Paul, final thoughts. Come on, you're the big Henson fan. Jump in. I talked over you. Come on, get in there.
I mean, I want people to experience it, honestly. Because it's so available right now. I really, you guys go seek this out. It's so worth it, and watch any Jim Henson things that you love. You know, the man has done so much for so many people and over the years, from Sesame Street, Fraggle Rock, this just anything. He's touched our lives so much. It's just amazing. I can't say enough. I mean, I've kind of stayed quiet just because the emotions that are just pouring out of me inside is hard, because I do want to cry, and some of these episodes did make me cry because there's just so much just feeling and awe just watching just a genius, and his art is just so beautiful. It's just hard. I don't know. I'm just at awe with all of this. It just amazes me. I mean, I know I'm just kind of just rambling right now because it just feels so good to just really get this out. And I don't know. I want to just tell people, watch it, enjoy it, introduce it to your children, introduce it to your friends, your family, just people who don't remember this, or it just clicks back on that you're like, oh my gosh, I have watched this. Oh my gosh, I do know that white lion. That white lion is so just hypnotic. Those eyes are just, I don't know. A+, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but I just love it, and I want people to just experience just the wonder. So that's my 2 cents, I guess.
No, I don't think you're a bitch for that. You sat back for a lot of that episode and like just listened to these two ladies romanticize Jim Henson, and then it got to you, and then when they're like, Jean Paul, your thoughts, you're like,
Yeah.
I get it. And who doesn't love Jim Henson though?
Yeah. Now, Jean Paul, well, I mean, you've always had, since I've known you for 15 years now, you've always had a affinity for puppetry. When did that start, real quick? I mean, since we got a little recording time here.
Honestly, it goes back to, again, when I learned to speak broken English. 1983, Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
I loved all the weird creatures that were in Star Wars, and then watching Fraggle Rock. When we lived in
we
our
all did that.
Park,
I didn't get to see that. Wasn't that on HBO when it first came out?
Yeah, when it first came out, yeah.
I didn't have HBO till I was fucking 17, something like that.
When we came to the United States and lived in Texas in a trailer park, they gave us free HBO, and I would watch endless loop of Fraggle Rock, Return of the Jedi, and a whole bunch of stuff I probably shouldn't have been watching.
See, I'm getting into stuff I didn't know about you, Jean Paul. Where did you originate from? Where did you?
Oh,
move?
you don't know?
No.
Okay, I was born in Managua, Nicaragua.
Ah.
So English is my second language.
So how old were you when you moved here?
When we moved here, so I was born in 1977, and we moved in 1982.
Oh wow! So you lived there for quite a while.
Yeah.
You definitely have some memories from back
then. Some, but not, any, like most of my memories are here in the United States.
Right.
I mean,
but there's definitely probably a couple that are stuck in there.
There's stuff that, like I remember getting tortured by my older brother. I mean, one memory in particular is the reason why for the longest time I feared dogs, because Doberman Pinscher pinched me in the ass, because my brother would say, "Go bite the baby," and the
Jesus Christ,
go bite the baby's ass.
Jesus.
Now, Jean,
on my ass.
Jean Paul, so you said you lived in Texas, but didn't you also live in Florida?
Yeah, after we lived in Texas, we moved to Miami, and then West Palm Beach, and then we moved to Ohio in '89. So
It sounds exciting until you get to the Ohio part.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, things were too crazy in Florida. You had to go like boring. You know?
Exactly. We had family. Actually, what really was is we had family living here in Columbus, and the schools and gangs were starting to rise. You know, the cocaine was hitting the high schools and stuff because my brother was going to high school, and so my parents are like, yeah, we don't want that for our kids. So they moved us to a nice little suburb of Worthington, Ohio.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, you know, I lived in Fort Pierce, Florida in 1989. And my first year of school there, I got into a fist fight and got hit with a chair because the kid was cocaine. He was putting cocaine in a baggie, and I thought he was crushing up those little sweet tarts and putting them in a bag.
Yeah.
But he was putting cocaine in a bag, and I kind of like glanced at him doing it, and he ran up and hit me because he thought I was going to tell on him. I didn't even know, like I said, what he was doing until it was over. Then he threw a chair at me, and then he hit the teacher and ran out.
Well, that's just cocaine talking right there.
Yes. So my first experience with anybody on any drug was when I was like 8, and a guy hit me with a chair and punched me over watching him spoon cocaine into a baggie.
Was this kid 8 too, or how old was this guy?
Probably 10.
That's crazy to me. I can't imagine that. I didn't even see cocaine until I was like,
well, I didn't know what it was.
23, 24.
I was dragged into an office. I was in the nurses. My dad came in. They told him, and then my dad later had to explain to me what it was and why the kid flipped out, because I thought he was mad that he thought I was going to steal his candy or something.
It was weak.
Yeah.
That's
but in that same school, this is when I left. The same teacher was yelling at a kid to sit back in his seat, and the kid got up and grabbed her by her arm and broke her fucking arm right in the middle of the class, and then said, you know, like all this crazy shit to us, like he was going to go get a gun, and the whole school was on lockdown.
Wow.
And we had bars on the windows, so you couldn't get out. And I remember my dad came in, you know, to get us, you know, because it was a whole lockdown situation. This is like the 3rd time he's had to take off work, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go back to Ohio. We're gonna pack all our shit this weekend and go." And we moved back to Ohio. We stayed with a relative for a week, and my dad got a job, and then we got a new place.
That seems so goddamn crazy because I grew up around here, so I have that experience.
Cassie will tell you, my sister Cassie too, she had like an even worse experience. Like people would just hit her when she got off the bus because she was mouthy. You guys know her. She'll tell you. So she would people would be giving her shit, and she would give them shit right back, and then people would just start to try to light her up, like right when she get off the bus.
Damn. Yeah, that shit sounds like the kind of school that Morgan Freeman could come in and like really just do it and, you know, clean it up.
I always wished he would, man, but those principals at those schools, they don't give a shit. They're just trying to get through the year.
Yeah, it's probably more like High School High. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Dude, Gene Levy.
No, it's
John Lovitz.
That's what it is. Yeah. God,
but I was just telling the story. I didn't mean to take over, but that just to corroborate, it was getting bad down there, and we were on the coast, so we were up. You know, we weren't even down south where shit was getting real crazy. Yeah,
Florida.
But, I mean, it's time where, I mean, I remember getting into fights, you know, here in Ohio. I mean, pretty bad fights. I once I got mad at somebody once in the lunchroom, and you know how the lunch tables were all seats and they were all connected.
Mm.
You know, it's like one little stool and then
a whole bunch.
Yeah, I once got so mad at somebody that not only did I throw my tray at his face, I lifted the whole damn thing and threw the thing at him because I was so pissed.
Yeah,
my mom for.
I guess I've seen some crazy shit, you know, in school. People, teenagers are shitty. You know, kids in school are fairly shitty, anyways. But Definitely a different experience here than anything that you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
No, just plug our Bill Murray podcast real quick.
Oh yeah, that's coming out. We got a few things coming out on ZTOTV podcasts. Subscribe now. We have a new Last Roundup Horror Club, which Ray was a part of. We played our game. Finished up
early this time.
We finally
got done with the game.
Yeah.
We've wrapped up that mission there.
If you've been following it, you need to check out this episode because there's a payoff.
Yeah. Then we have a Time for Tacos that's coming out after that, and then we got our Deconstructing Bill Murray. We did The Razor's Edge, which we both enjoyed and had a lot of fun talking about that. And then we have the Wrestling Roulette video special that Ray did with Dan Fraley. We recorded that last night. That was fun, just weird wrestling clips, and the guys kind of riffed on it. But yeah, all that's coming out soon, so check it out, and we'll see you. Well, somebody will see you on this, because this is going to be like a rotating, weird hosted monthly podcast. I think it's cool to put the top 10 in this format and kind of cross promote all the different shows, I think. But and
never invite me back, because I'm a fuck up.
No, you'll definitely be back. You'll definitely be back. I love it when you read them wrong, to be honest.
I'll have a mic eventually.
Yeah. It's just you cut out sometimes. You sound fine when you're there, but you just cut out sometimes. But that might be just the nature of Zoom.
I think that Jay and Trent ought to actually try to reconsider changing their podcast to "What's the World."
What's the
world? They may.
What's the world?
They may. They're transitioning. They're talking to Canada now. They might move over to Australia or something.
Yeah.
Aaron, you and I should start a podcast. What's the world?
Yeah. What's the world with Jay and Trent? We'll just we'll talk about their podcast.
Yeah.
Their podcast. We'll talk about everybody's podcast.
Well, that's kind of what this is. So, but anyways, we'll see you next month with December's statistics. We'll see what was popular in the holiday month.
Watch our stuff.
Watch it all. We'll see you next time.